private sector will be maintained.
Someone's got to develop a product that you and I as a consumer are going to want to buy.
The country needs a comprehensive energy plan. We don't know how long this will last.
Hello everyone, welcome to For the Record. I'm Jed Donahue. Our guest today is Bryan Rodgers, director of the University Park Airport. He's been the director for the last 6 years, and we've got a couple of statistics as we teach you about what goes on at the University Park Airport. They are the 6th busiest airport in Pennsylvania, which kind of surprised me. Philadelphia is obviously number one. They have, let me see, 140,000 employments. That means getting on and off airplanes, and 65,000 takeoffs and landings. Great to have you. I didn't realize the numbers were that big when we were studying up for your visit here. But Penn State owns and operates the University Park Airport, and then there's the Center County Airport Authority. Why don't we talk about who you are, and then we'll move on to some of the things that are going on over there, Bryan.
Thank you for having me. You're right, Penn State University does own and operate the airport with the exception of the airline terminal building. The airline terminal building is owned and operated by the Center County Airport Authority, which their primary responsibilities are the terminal and passenger amenities and managing the parking and the concessions and developing commercial air service for the area.
Now, I've flown out of it 2 different ways, commercially, and then I've flown with the Lady Lions at Penn State where charter goes out of there. So, I mean, there's a lot more that meets the eye, right?
There is. Penn State, as you mentioned, owns and operates the airfield, and their primary responsibilities are maintaining the airfield to a standard that the FAA sets. And also we provide the individuals to fuel airplanes and park airplanes, and individuals also serve as our aircraft rescue and firefighting employees.
And I remember the big conversation, when Penn State was going to join the Big Ten, or everybody had to land in Harrisburg, but you've expanded the runway, right? I mean, kind of talk about some of the improvements and getting into the 21st century and things that have happened over the last 20 or so years.
Yes, the big improvement, a number of years ago was the lengthening of the main runway from 5,000 feet to 6,700 feet. A lot of people have always had the impression that it was done for Penn State football. That's not the case. University Park Airport's much more than Penn State football. There were a lot of businesses and economic reasons and otherwise to lengthen the runway.
Yeah, and we talk about the economic impact. All right, let's talk about, it's not Penn State football, but Air Force One came recently with President Obama. And you've had previous experience with President Clinton, I believe President Bush, Vice President Biden. And we're going to dip into some of your experience here, because dealing with the White House and the Secret Service doesn't happen to everybody every day that comes on this show. What was your role in helping coordinate that event with the White House and the Secret Service? Well,
it starts out, we get a phone call, a mysterious phone call, weeks in advance from an Air Force base confirming our airfield information. And then, in hindsight, you look back, and that was preparation for this past visit. It's always, exciting and somewhat frustrating to work with White House staff and Air Force One advanced folks and Secret Service, but they come to the airport saying that they're not going to impact your operation very much, but we all know that bringing the president to any location impacts one's operations.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And talk about some of the impact that it does have. Do you have to shut the airport down, for instance, or?
No, we don't shut the airport down, but
nothing closes.
Nothing closes.
Okay.
We operate as normally as we can. We obviously provide Air Force One Advance and White House staff and Secret Service the full availability of facilities at the airport. They come in and they take over facilities, and so that's a bit cumbersome. But in the end of the day, it all works out. There's a lot of coordination that has to be done, familiarizing them with the airport and its facilities and just the way it operates, so they can make that visit work.
Yeah, and all the ins and outs. Coordinating a presidential visit. Did it surprise just kind of, is there a stress level involved or any of that sort of thing when you're doing this?
There is, but a lot of that stress level is pushed off onto those that are responsible for that visit. They found our airfield to be very easy to work with, our staff very easy to work with. So, it's really hats off to our employees who make that all work.
Do you ever talk to somebody in a major city? I mean, I got to think landing Air Force One in Philadelphia, where there's more people, 15 million people fly in and out of there. You ever talk to, airports that have a lot more people to deal with or things to try and find out what they do, or?
We haven't. I mean, we've gotten used to these types of visits over the last number of years, so we think we have it down pretty well. It's always it's always a fun experience.
Yeah, Brian, when you get through all that, do you at least get to meet them?
We don't.
You don't at all.
No,
you go through all of this stuff and you don't even get.
We don't.
Well, I mean, meet the guy.
We get the plus of meeting some of the Air Force pilots and the White House staff, and so there's always that's always a plus. But we never have had the opportunity to meet any of the presidents.
You see the Secret Service guys on like TV or something like that. Are they easy to work with?
They are.
For the most part?
They are. For the most part, they're great. They have a great sense of humor, but when it comes down to their job on that day, they're very, very, very serious. So it's interesting to see what goes on to make a visit like that happen.
Yeah, real focused and things like that. But there's some other things. We're going to get into the new tower in the next segment because that's really exciting development there. But when you get a presidential visit, it doesn't happen every day. But the Transportation Safety Administration, we might even finish this off in segment 2. But what you work with Homeland Security? I mean, they're government employees, right? They're not local University Park Airport employees, correct?
That's right. They're
check
federal,
luggage, check you, all that.
Right. They are federal employees with the Transportation Security Administration, and we do have some responsibility to the security of the airline terminal, and we work pretty closely with TSA on that.
Yeah. What are some of the things that obviously 9/11 changed everything, but talk about how you've had to make changes on the fly and all of that.
Sure. Life after 9/11 is certainly not what it was prior to 9/11. We all know that, and we've all seen the reasons as to why. We have now we have an airport security program that's approved by the TSA, and we're actually looking to upgrade that program so we can accommodate larger aircraft than what we presently see. But it's a day-to-day job for us to work with TSA and making certain that we're following the appropriate measures. All
right, we're with Bryan Rodgers, Director of the University Park Airport. We'll talk about some other security measures and also just this new airport control tower and how that will enhance the future at the airport as well. You're watching For the Record. We'll be back with more after this.